Okay. So today, students, we will be doing gapped text. This is the fifth part of paper 1. Okay. This is the fifth part of paper 1. All right. Now, as usual, we will be going through these three details. All right. The first one would be the type. The second one would be the challenges. And the third one would be the tips. Okay. Now, the type. The type of the question. It is an informative or a descriptive passage. 6 sentences are removed. The removed sentences are jumbled up with additional 2 sentences to confuse the candidates or to make it more complicated, put it that way, which means you have a passage. It is an informative or a descriptive passage. Now, from within the passage, 6 sentences are removed, and those 6 sentences are jumbled up beneath the text with an additional 2 sentences. Okay, that is to confuse the candidates. All right, now the challenges. Now, what are the challenges? The first challenge would be to gauge the student's ability to make out a sensible chronological sequence in mind, which means you are able to see the whole paragraph or the whole passage with the loops of 6 sentences. So you're able to make out a sensible order based on the gap that is in the text, as well as the choices which are given. All right. And then the other one is able to differentiate the 2 additional sentences. So when you read those texts, the text, and when you read those sentences, you are able to identify which are the 2 sentences that do not belong to the text. And thirdly, choose the most appropriate option with the clues given. So you choose the most suitable option with the options or with the clues which are given. Okay. All right. Now, tips. These are the tips. Firstly, read the text. Okay, with the gap. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, firstly, read the text with the gaps carefully, with the gaps carefully. Not caps, but gaps. Sorry. Read the text with the gaps carefully, and then read the 8 sentences below. After that, look out for linkers between sentences and paragraphs. What are the links? Okay. Now you read the text first, get a general idea, and then read the 8 sentences below. And then after that, you look for linkers. What are the possible linkers, or what are the clues there are in the text which could make sense or which could be associated or which could be made relevant to the sentences down there. Okay. After that, study the flow of the ideas. Study the flow of the ideas and the points discussed. As I have always reminded you during the online class, please turn your microphones off. Okay. Now, study the flow of the ideas and the points discussed. Okay. So you look at the flow after you have seen the linkers and the connections. Study the flow of the ideas and the points being discussed. And lastly, read the entire text to see if it makes sense. So once you take the sentences and you fit into the gap, try to read the entire sentence and see if they do make sense. Let's move on. Now, this is the rubric or the task, the question. You are going to read a text. 6 sentences have been removed from the article. Now, choose from sentences A to H. A to H is 8. A to H to fit each gap from 35 to 40. There are 2 extra sentences which you do not need to use. For each question, mark the correct answer A to H. Now, we are going to move on to the practice. All right. Are you all able to see, people?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Give me a second. Okay. All right. Now, as I told you, we need someone to read the text, and then we need someone to read the option, and then we'll start doing the answer. This is a story. Therefore, we can look at the flow of the story in an easier manner. Now, who can volunteer to read? I want someone who can read fluently. Can you volunteer? Can someone volunteer? Is there anyone who wants to volunteer to read? Can you say yes or your name? Can a volunteer your name? If you were to type, I cannot see because I'm looking at the text. Any volunteers? Let me see. Can I call your names? How about anyone wishes to try? I'm still okay. So how about Sachindran? Sachindran, are you there? Can you try, Sachindran?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please read the text. An average school day. Yes.
An average school day at Oxgrove Elementary in Polar Buff, Missouri, took a deadly spin last April when fourth grade teacher Madonna Kinser suffered a near fatal
Continue reading.
allergic reaction to a dry eraser marker. Kinser inhaled the fumes while
Fumes.
teaching the class. Fumes while teaching the class using an overhead projector. When suddenly her throat began to close, the students were watching, and I knew I had to get to my desk where my inhaler was. As the
Okay.
classroom of
No, okay, we'll
terrified
ask another. Okay, we'll stop you there. Second paragraph, I would want to request Jaslyn. Can you read, Jaslyn?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
As the classroom of terrified 9-year-olds looked on, Cancer stumbled across the room but fainted before she could reach the device. Thankfully, one youngster, Brendan Gaiman, knew what to do. He jumped from his desk and darted towards the purse his teacher had been reaching for.
All right, very good. Next paragraph, can we have Saras? Can you read Saras? Next paragraph.
Yes, sir. It was a fearful moment, but Braden credits his quick thinking to same scene he remembered from the movie Are We There Yet? In the scene, one of the main characters has an asthma attack and collapses. If I didn't see that movie, I wouldn't know what to do, says Brandon. After the rescue, he said, You know, Mr. Cancer, TV's not so bad, huh? Cancer told the news station.
Okay. The next paragraph, paragraph number 4. Lisha Nair, can you read Lisha Nair?
Yes, sir. Brandon has autism and disability that can limit communication and social skills. She and Brandon's family hope this experience will send the message that children with autism are gifted and hold the potential to do extraordinary things.
Continue the last paragraph. Just one sentence or two sentences. Yes, Lisha, continue the last paragraph.
After all, Brandon's actions saved cancer's life. I went to the doctor and he said 5,000 people die from the things that happened that day. Cancer told KFVS12.com.
Okay, very good. Now, can I request Mitra Sri? Mitra Sri, can you read all the options A to H? Are you there, Mitra Sri? Okay. Now, Arvind Karthikesu, can you read A to H? I'm not getting a response. Never mind. Are you there, Arvind?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you read Arvind? Thank you.
Which one, teacher?
A to H, the options by the side.
Okay, teacher. A. Another character rushes to his aid with an inhaler and is able to revive him. B. Asthma is common illness to human. C. The class was stunned. D. If it weren't for Brandon, there's good chance I wouldn't be here. E. Finding her inhaler, he then gave a woozy cancer her first life-saving guess. F. The whole situation was chaotic.
Chaotic.
Chaotic. G. I was having an asthma attack. Cancer told. Uh, Cancer told.
KFVS12.com.
H. Although she praises the entire class for their calm reaction, Brandon is the one she'll likely remember most.
All right, very good. Now we get an overall idea of what is in the text. The text says everything about a teacher who was teaching in the class. Suddenly she was having an asthma attack, and so she has to take her inhaler. Okay. After that, the class students were shocked. They were stunned. They do not know what to do. But one boy knew what to do. He quickly went to the table, went to the desk, and got the teacher's purse. Turn off your microphones. Another time I'm going to hear anyone speaking out of turn, I'm going to remove you from the class. Okay. Now, he got the teacher's purse and took the inhaler out and gave the teacher a puff. You know, we call it a puff. You take a puff. Okay. He saw it from a movie, and therefore he tried to try to recall it, and he tried to do it on that day. That's what happened. Now we are going to see the chronology of the event. An average school day, or everyone be ready, an average school day at Oak Grove Elementary in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Okay, now students, as I also teach you how to do gap text, please be careful to listen to the pronunciation. How do I pronounce those words? every single word. Because I do see a serious problem in your pronunciation. And remember, PT3, 25% is based on your speaking. Okay? So, an average school day at Oak Grove Elementary in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, took a deadly spin last April when fourth grade teacher Madonna Cancer suffered a near fatal allergic reaction to a dry erase marker. Cancer inhaled the fumes while teaching the class using an overhead projector when suddenly her throat began to close. Now she's getting an attack. After 35, the students were watching and I knew I had to get to my desk where my inhaler was. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. What do you think is the right answer?
C.
Can anyone tell me? The class was stunned. Does it speak anything about it? The students were watching and I knew I had to get to my desk. So is it C? No.
A, sir.
Does the character rush to his aid already? No.
Finding
F, sir. F.
F.
F, sir. F.
There was the situation already chaotic. She's just experiencing an attack.
Sir, H cannot.
The correct answer is G. I was having an asthma attack because that's what she's trying to. The clue is the students were watching and I knew I had to get to my desk where my inhaler was. That shows she's having an asthma attack. When suddenly her throat began to close, that shows that she's having an asthma attack. I was having an asthma attack. Cancer told KVSV 12. So 35, the answer is G. Now, the students were watching and I knew I had to get to my desk where my inhaler was. As the classroom of terrified 9-year-olds looked on, Cancer stumbled across the room, but fainted before she could reach the device. Now, everything is in a very shocked situation. So what do you think is the right answer?
C. H.
C.
H.
Is it C or
Sir. E.
F?
So E.
H.
E, sir.
No, it's not E.
H.
It is definitely not. The right option here would be either C or F.
C, sir. C.
C.
Okay.
F.
Now, C and F could both be relevant. Now let's just see.
H.
We'll just put here C or F. Now let's move on. Thankfully, one youngster, Brendan Garman, knew what to do. He jumped from his desk and darted towards the purse his teacher had been reaching for. What did he do?
E.
The answer here for question 37 is his immediate action, what he did.
E. Finding an inhaler. E.
So
Is that
E,
right
sir.
answer? Yes, the answer here is E.
Yes.
E.
Okay, finding her inhaler, he then gave a wounded Cancer her first life-saving gasps. It was a fearful moment, but Brendan credits his quick thinking to a scene he remembered from the movie Are We There Yet? In the scene, one of the main characters has an asthma attack and collapses. So they're talking about a movie. So 38, what could be the answer?
B.
Very good.
A,
A.
sir.
Very good. A. Another character rushes to his aid with an inhaler and is able to revive him. If I didn't see that movie, I wouldn't know what to do, says Brendan. After the rescue, he said, "You know, Mrs. Cancer, TV's not so bad, huh?" Cancer told the news station. Now, 38.
D.
H, sir.
Sir H, although she praises the entire class.
Sabi, Sabi.
Yes, sir. H.
See, why
Sir
is it B?
H, sir.
It cannot be B because it doesn't talk about asthma. Okay? So, the next sentence is about Brendan. Brendan has autism. Brendan has autism,
D.
a disability that can limit communication and social skills. So it is talking about Brendan. So you need to look for clues which is about Brendan.
D.
D
D.
and also H, isn't it? D
Yes, sir.
and also H. So let's
Yes.
assume D and
Yes.
H. All right. Now let's look at the next one. Brendan has autism, a disability that can limit communication and social skills. She and Brendan's family hope this experience will send the message that children with autism are gifted and hold the potential to do great things. After all, Brendan's life saved Cancer's life. I went to the doctor and he said 5,000 people die from the things that happened that day. Cancer told KFVS12.com. Number 40.
B.
Definitely F
B.
is not
A.
the
B.
answer. C is not the answer.
A.
B is not the answer because it doesn't talk about asthma.
B. B.
G. G. No.
We have already done G. G is given for 35. So it should be between H and D. Here it is also Brendan. Now, this is where you need to think. If you were to look at this one, it says, after all, Brendan's action saved Cancer. I went to the doctor and he said 5,000 people die from the things that happened that day. Cancer told KFVS12.com. Here, they're talking about life and death. So, it would be D. If it weren't for Brendan, there is a good chance I wouldn't be here. So here, the answer is D, which means here, automatically the answer is H. Now we'll see if it makes sense. H here. Although she praises the entire class for the calm reaction, Brendan's the one she will likely remember most. And then he talks about Brendan, that he has autism. It's a great thing. So we have sorted the answer for all the questions. Now we have question 36 in doubt. It's either C, the class was stunned, or F, the whole situation was chaotic. You see, chaotic means everyone would be talking, everyone would be doing something, everyone would be jumping all over. But if you look at the text, it says, here. Although she praises the entire class for their calm reaction. When the class is calm, it means the situation was not chaotic. So F is definitely wrong. The correct answer is
C.
Now you are able to answer.
C, sir.
So the additional two sentences were B and
F.
F. Okay, asthma is a common illness to human, as well as the whole situation was chaotic. These two are the additional words. Do you understand now how to answer this section?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay,
Sir.
we'll move on
Yes, sir.
with your vocabulary.
Yes, sir.
All right, now vocabulary. The first word, farcical, broadly and extravagantly humorous. It's very funny. Second one, feasible, relevant, suitable. Third one, feral, wild and menacing. Fourth one, fidelity, which is being faithful.
Yes, sir.
And the fifth one, finicky, which means fussy, or very detailed.
Sir.
Here, you can either screenshot it, or you can go to my YouTube channel as early as
That's
tomorrow morning, and
Sir,
you can copy this.
what is meaning of menacing?
Menacing is very uncontrollably moving, something that is very it can be evil, very uncontrollable. Okay, so these are the vocabulary for today. Any
No,
questions?
sir. No,
Nothing, sir.
No, sir.
So
sir.
kindly wait.
No, sir. No, sir.
Kindly wait.
Thank you. Bye bye, sir.